You're back for more of His Dark Materials here on BuzzChomp, and I'm reacting to episode 5 of season 2. I'm Dan Salem, and it was a face-off of epic proportions. I saw this coming. We all should have seen it coming. Marissa and Lyra had a true face-off. More specifically, Marissa and Boreal, team bad guy, or team parent, had a face-off with Lyra and Will, team kids? I don't know. The names are up in the air. Basically, Lyra and Will are concocting a heist plan to go steal the alethiometer back from Boreal. Boreal and Marissa are concocting a plan to entrap Lyra, get the knife from Will. They don't really have a very solid plan because they aren't on the same page. Lyra and Will have a very specific plan and are on the same page. And guess who wins? Obviously our hero and heroine. But their plan was also much better. So of course it played out. Lyra goes all Marissa on Marissa by having her demon attack the other demon as a badger and just took every ounce of her strength not to murder her mother. And I don't think she was actually going to do it, but she unleashed her fangs. It was beautiful. We knew it. It was inside her. She is her mother and her father, but she's also neither one. And this is the eternal struggle of a child with deranged parents. Most interesting aspect to me of this face-off and the episode is that the worlds line up. Now, I kind of assume this. The intro to the show is the layer of worlds upon layer of worlds, which we've only seen 3. I kind of think that there's going to be a 4th, but any more than that would get a little bit confusing. We don't know where Azrael is. He's either in World 2, Will's home world, or he's in a 4th world. I don't think he's in the City in the Sky World 3. But they line up. So Will and Lyra are traipsing down the street, cut a little sliver. Where are we? Okay, go this way, around the corner. We have to go underground, cut a little sliver. Okay, we're here now. And they line up. They're not the exact same cities. I mean, there's Oxford, and then there's the Bridge World, World 3, the City in the Sky in between. But they line up. This makes sense to me theoretically, and it's very interesting. It's also much more fun from a storytelling point of view. I knew it was coming as well, and we've been teased this, but Malone, Mary Malone, kind of finally learned her name, personally anyways, is key to the quest. All of these people that we've been teased are key. We just don't know how until we are ready to know how, and that's the beauty of how this show is telling the story. She gets to speak with the Dust Angels through her cave she created until the moment in time where they say goodbye and they left the area and don't speak to her anymore. Makes you wonder if the cave ever worked or if the Dust Angel just decided to speak to her and use that as a means. The alethiometer seems to always work, but it's not a direct verbalization. Marissa came to visit Malone. They had a weird combo, exposed both of their own weird agendas. Also, though, I could see them buddying up in the end, smart females uniting, because Marissa comes from a world where that is stamped out, and Malone is in a world in which they've overcome that and now can actually prosper. Lyra is fighting against that as well. So they have something in common, but their agendas are quite different. Malone was quested. I love to use the word quest. She was given a quest by the Dust Angel. I don't know which Dust Angel. We aren't quite sure if the Dust Angels, the witches, which have turned themselves from humans more into dust, or the specters, which appear to be evil dust, are all one and the same type of creature, or if they are different forms of the same creature. We are human, right? But then we have humans with demons, and then we have humans which have interwoven themselves with dust to a point where they are deemed witches, and they can be a human form or a dust form where they fly. Or there are the specters, which are pure dust, and then but they appear evil. And then there are the angels, which are the dust trying to help the humans. It's almost all different levels of consciousness, right? And if this show is diving into the philosophy, it's the levels of consciousness, the levels of matter in the world. Because we have our spirit, our consciousness, and our being. But then that's the energetic side, and then there's the material side, which is the human body, or the dust, or the witch, which is kind of halfway in between. I have a feeling that this will be better explained, but right now, this is my best guess. I haven't read the books yet. Malone was quested. She deceives the guard, because Boreal put up a guard in front of the splinter that he knows about. Why did you assume that you were the only one, the first one to go through? He was dumbfounded. This is a very, very smart man. I just don't think he wanted to answer the question. I actually think he knows someone went before him. I think someone showed it to him. I don't think he stumbled upon it. He got all of these artifacts he's bartering. I don't think that he's as old as he claims to be. The guild appears to be ancient, and I think that he's a member. We don't know who the guild members are, but they gotta be out in the world if they're not in the tower. He knows a lot about all of these things, having not lived any of them. So Boreal is still a mystery. Marissa, I think, is the key to unlocking his mystery because they are the only two that are sign of friends in that side of the spectrum. Lyra and Will are going to meet up with Lee and Grumman soon, so Will will finally get reunited with his father. That's going to be an interesting reunion, but I think it might be Malone that bridges the gap because she's stepping through the splinter into the city in the sky now as well. We learned, which I already assumed, that the specters are dust because they look the same. That was the show showed us. The dust looks like the specters, looks like the witches. So we kind of can put the pieces together, right? Well, Marissa, who has studied her dust entire life because she tried to separate humans from demons via dust, she wants to learn. Just like Azrael, that's what bonded them. I believe that Marissa is the one that killed her ex-husband. I don't think Azrael did it. There's a mystery there too. That being said, she hinted at the fact that if you understand the dust, meaning you can communicate with the angels, good or bad, they're not going to kill you. If you learned about them to a point in which you can talk to them, they're not just going to steal your soul. So Malone, who can communicate, is probably okay. Marissa, probably okay. Interestingly enough, all women communicating with the dust angels. Pretty much all women are witches. The only warlock that we know of is Grumman, Will's dad, and he had to fight and claw his way to learn those powers. Why are there no males among the witches? Why have we not seen a male be able to communicate with dust? The Magisterium, all men, stupid Magisterium, is struggling to read an alethiometer. Yet the women, it comes naturally to them. Lyra was basically born with the ability. Marissa is the biggest expert on dust in her world. Malone's the biggest expert in her world. And the witches basically are half dust. This is a true play on men versus women and the absurdity of knowledge and the lack of sharing. And like, why do you bar one person? They are going to become uber powerful and want to take you down. This is the war. Like, the witches and Magisterium war are a man-woman war. And we're starting to break that down in our society today, but it's still a real struggle for females. And I like that the show is not afraid of stepping there, and I am hoping the book series did it, I don't really know. Right now the women have the power. They are the ones that can talk to the dust angels. That is not a coincidence. We only have 2 episodes left. I really don't know what's going to happen, but the key here is that I think everyone is in World 3. I said Worlds Collide last video. Well, we saw the witches go through the giant splinter that Azrael made. We saw Lee and Grumman heading there. Azrael went through. Marissa and Boreal are going to go back through. Malone went through. Lyra and Will are there. Where are they though? Because we saw the witches go through, yet we never saw them meet up with Lyra. So the timelines here are a little off to me. I think they were showing us things to keep the story moving, but perhaps they didn't actually line up in time, because if the witches went through, they would have found Lyra before she went to go back and steal the alethiometer. If they are the dust, just like we think they are, they would have been communicating with the specters already. Lee and Grumman, I thought they already made it to the giant splinter bridge to World 3, but then the scenes imply they haven't got there yet. We don't know where Azrael is. I think that we're going to get to see him in the final episode of this season leading into season 3. Pray that this show continues to complete the story because, oh man, it's awesome. I'm Dan Salem. Subscribe to the Buzz Jump YouTube channel for more of his dark materials and other great TV shows. And comment below on what your take is on why only females seem to be able to communicate with dust angels thus far. And the face-off, mother-daughter, Boreal, whatever he is, to Will. This is truly intriguing, and I can't wait to see how this season wraps up. Woo!